Hi, Brian Stevens with CASA, and today I've got I've got a series of communication fails for you. I want to continue our discussion about appropriate and inappropriate use of social media and the mistakes that so many people make, and I think fundamentally because they misconstrue freedom of speech and what that means. Now, we have freedom of speech here in the United States. Some other countries have it too. I think it's awesome. But it's not talking about freedom from consequences. It's talking about freedom from government interference. That's the only thing that freedom of speech does, to stop the government from stopping you from protesting or talking or doing something. It doesn't mean freedom from the way other people will interpret your words, and freedom from, well, in the examples I had today, from losing clients or losing your job because people think I can say whatever I want to on social media. The fascinating thing is, when social media first came on into the scene, people would post all kinds of stuff. It was crazy, and there was a lot of fallout. You would think by this point people would learn to keep their full mouth shut, or they can get pinched. But they still inevitably rant on social media as if they're just hanging out at the pub, talking with a friend and complaining about their job. It's not the same thing when you post it on the internet and it lasts forever. So it's a massive fail to misconstrue freedom of speech from freedom of consequence. So here's my first example. This was a hairdresser. She went to a restaurant and she complained about a person that she basically characterized as a junkie. They overdosed. She was ignored. Her table was ignored because they dealt with this junkie over there. Well, it wasn't actually a junkie. It was a 70-year-old person that had a heart attack and died. And there was, of course, a public outcry, and the hairdresser lost her job. So the issue, she was like, complained. Well, this was on my private social media account. Why am I losing my job? Because the employer can fire stuff like this. They get to choose who they want to have in their companies. And you're not the kind of person they want. They don't want all this heat because you don't know how to control your mouth on social media. One more example that I thought was a little interesting is Apple. So an employee at Apple decided to start posting on their own Facebook feed issues they were having with their company, internal issues and rants about how the company doesn't perform well, and how, a long story short was they just kind of went on a tirade. That's what you do with your friends. That's what you do with your spouse. Did they not think that Apple was going to see this? Apple is a tech company, and they got people sitting around in a room just looking at your stuff. You don't like it, don't post it. And so the person attempted to, they got fired, and then they tried to sue Apple. I got freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say whatever. Yes, you absolutely can say whatever, and then we can make a decision not to give you money for working here. That's what it means. But inevitably, this continues to happen. We, at our company, I don't know what you do, but I would encourage you to. If we do not hire people if they're tyrants and rants on social media. We're in the communications business. We got to keep our own selves tight first. And if they can't be tight on their own personal accounts, how they're going to be tight for our clients and the work that we do? You got to have some discipline out here. So a great tip, a great rule to think about is realizing there's nothing personal on social media, even if you block and make it private. So just don't assume that it's private. It's not a personal letter, right? It's on social media. So come on, let's get this lesson locked in. Number 2, go ahead and write the post. It's very therapeutic to write down a really upsetting email about everything you're frustrated about, and then delete it, or at least sit on it for 24 hours before you make a decision. Have you ever heard of the phrase, sleep on it for a night? If it still upsets you and you make a conscious decision to send it and want to face the consequences, well, God bless you. At least you've gotten over the emotional, whatever the emotion was that really upset you on the front end. So look, be emotional, be upset, write a letter. I think that's very, very helpful. Get all those feelings out and then sit on it for a night, and then decide if you still want to send that information. When you're looking at teammates and people that may work with you, if you're smart, you're going to peruse what they did. And if they don't like it, they ought to be more disciplined and not post it, right? So there's a lot of stuff that people are still making mistakes misinterpreting what this freedom of speech means. So I thought it was worth a couple minutes of our time to hopefully educate somebody on your team. Maybe you should forward it to the person, you know who I'm talking about, and have them go, you gotta stop posting all that stuff. You know, you're gonna get into trouble. So watch that, and I would really beg of you to look at people's social media before you hire them, before you take them on as a vendor, before you develop a relationship with them. And if you don't approve of everything they're putting out, just assume they're going to do it anyway, and just make a different choice. So hey, I hope this helps, and I hope you're going to be careful with your social media and really caution those around you to be careful and realize consequences can just jump up and kick you really hard if you're not careful. Thanks. Bye. If you want to see any more of these, you can hit the subscribe button, the like button, and I guess the notification button. What all you young people do with social media, so you see like really cool fails of the week, you can do that here too. Thanks.